a lot of you who clicked this video may be wondering if there is finally a beta announced for Ananta, and unfortunately there isn't, but Ananta did hold an offline test, which annoyingly they actually restricted with an NDA. But there are some details floating around on the internet. At least these details haven't been taken down by the company, so we can probably talk about them. So that's what I'm going to cover in this video. It's a little annoying that NetEase refuses to do the test now, and it may fuel the doubters because a lot of people are actually skeptical whether Ananta can actually deliver what it has promised, because it's NetEase that's actually producing the game. But let's not forget, NetEase are also the guys who made Marvel Rivals and Naraka Blade Points, two games that are doing very well. So I'm very confident that they will probably be able to deliver on what they have here. But with that said, let's talk about the features that were available in the offline test, which I believe will also be coming to the beta that we will get later on this year. As for when that beta is going to come, I don't know, but who knows, it might come very soon. There are some rumors circulating the internet right now, and I'll make another video talking about them. But for now, let's get into the video. If you've watched the first video that I ever made talking about Ananta, you know that I talked about how this game takes a lot of inspiration from both GTA games and Spider-Man games. So I want to divide this video into two sections: features that are directly inspired by Grand Theft Auto and features that are directly inspired by Spider-Man games. And I want to start off with the Grand Theft Auto games, which are most popular for the crime system and the wanted system in the game, as well as the amount of freedom that you have in their open world. And from all the reports that we have about the offline test, it's looking like we have a very high degree of freedom. So you can now steal things from NPCs. The main things that they talked about are stealing phones from NPCs. You can also cause a lot of mayhem in the open world. They talked about kicking out the chairs from NPCs. They talked about destroying things in the open world. And most of the time when you're destroying things in the open world, you're probably going to be fighting somebody, because all of our characters are espers, and because they are espers, they have the ability to manipulate objects with their minds. And also, it's been confirmed that every single character can actually do this. It's not just restricted to only one character. And also, if you're wondering if you can steal cars, yes, you can, even though it doesn't seem like you're stealing the cars more than you are borrowing the cars, but that's besides the point. But speaking about cars and transport, they talked about how we're going to be able to ride in subways, and they also mentioned that there's currently no way to actually buy cars in the game. You also can't buy houses in the game, unfortunately, but that's fine. This is an offline test, and I'm expecting that when the beta actually does come, we'll actually have these things in hand. Now, along with all the mayhem that you can cause in the open world that I was talking about before, we now have a wanted system in Ananta. Now, we don't have the exact specifics of how it works. We don't know whether it uses a star system or maybe a gauge that fills up over time, but what we do know is that when you commit crimes for a long enough time, the example that they gave was shooting at NPCs. Even though you can't hurt NPCs, shooting at NPCs will get your wanted meter to rise up. And when it gets to a certain amount, you will get arrested. Now, the thing here is, it's not stated if you can evade the cops or if that gauge fills up to the maximum, you just automatically get arrested without any question. I actually think that it's probably this, because I've made this theory before in my previous video where I talked about the things that are getting added to Ananta, which is that our characters, even though they are espers, are also government officials. And because they are government officials, this is what enables them to be able to borrow cars from citizens. And because of this, it makes sense that if a government official starts to commit a lot of crimes in the open world, there is an extent that you commit that crime and you immediately get arrested, no questions asked, because you're a government official. I think that makes perfect sense. So that's my theory on it. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Do you guys think that it's going to be a system where we can dodge and evade the cops, or do you think it's something where we just automatically get arrested? And also, which one would you prefer to have? One last thing to talk about when it comes to the GTA features, we now have a system similar to GTA 5 where we can choose between single player and multiplayer. And I actually made this suggestion to the devs in my very first video talking about Project Mugen. Now, I do hope that the online mode has a lot of diversity to it. A lot of these games like Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves don't really have anything related to co-op in them. If this game is going to have a dedicated co-op mode, then it should also be able to provide us with dedicated co-op things to do. That's my honest opinion. But with all of that said, let's now talk about the Spider-Man features that are in the game. So when it comes to Spider-Man features, one of the most obvious ones is the swinging around from building to building. This one is like one of the most noticeable features that are available in the game so far. And they gave us some details. They talked about how it's not really that good at this moment in time. Running in the game also doesn't use stamina, which is very, very good. I absolutely love that feature. Of course, technically it doesn't make sense if you think about it logically, but in a Spider-Man game, if you're sprinting, you're not really thinking about stamina. At least most of the Spider-Man games that I've played don't think about stamina. You just sprint infinitely, and that is always a welcome thing. Now, the last thing that I'll talk about in the Spider-Man section is something that was actually inspired by Spider-Man 2, not Insomniac Spider-Man 2, the original Spider-Man 2 for the PS2 game. So this is the feature where we can just be exploring in the open world and come across a random crime. It's very similar to Spider-Man 2 system, which was divided into two. It was the petty crime system and then random requests from NPCs. In Spider-Man 2, you could choose to, if NPCs call out to you, talk to the NPCs and hear about a crime or an incident that's happening in the world, which you can then go and intervene in, or at random, you can just come across a child who has lost their balloon and you can go get their balloon for them. You can come across a gang hideout and you can clear out the gang. You can come across a gang war and you can beat up everyone and stop the fighting and everything. It's little things like this that will make the open world an absolute joy to be in. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what Project Mugen or Ananta decides to cook up when we finally get a beta for this game. Now, before I end off the video, there's one more system I want to talk about, which depending on what type of person you are, may either piss you off or make you extremely very happy. So, Ananta now has something that is very similar to a dating system. Now, I put the dating in quotes because I personally don't think it's a dating system. I'm very skeptical. I think it's a system that will boost your friendship with characters and not actually an express dating system, but I could be wrong. Okay, you're able to go out with characters and do fun things like driving cars, playing games, playing darts, racing, going on Ferris wheels, doing a lot of things that you technically would see people doing on a date, which is why I can understand why they say that it's a dating system. In NTE, I suggested that we have a system like this where we can interact with NPCs, call them out, do different things in the world, and then through these we can actually build up the story, also have some more interesting character moments with the characters and many other things. So it would be nice if this is here. Now, I want to hear you guys' thoughts down below. Do you guys think that it's actually a full-on dating system where you can date a character if they start to like you well enough? Or do you think it's a friendship system? I personally think it's a friendship system, like I've already mentioned, but I want to hear you guys' thoughts down below. And also, I would like to hear if you guys are for or against a dating system in this kind of a game. Now, there are a ton of other things that were added in the game that I don't want to really spend my time talking about. There's a clothing system in the game which allows you to buy clothes and then you can put them on any single character as long as the sex of the character is correct. So if you buy a certain swimsuit for one character, you'll be able to put it on all the other characters. So if it's a female character, you can put it on every single female character in the game. If it's a male character, you'll be able to put it on every single male character in the game, and the clothes will automatically fit them, which is a very nice feature. It's not something that I think I'm going to care about as much, but I could be proven wrong when the game actually launches. And there's a ton of other features that I didn't talk about, so I'll link the posts that I use for this video down below. You can go there, you can look at it, and you can make your own opinions based on everything that you've seen there. But that's technically everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me hear your thoughts down below. Do you guys like the features that you have in the game so far? And is there anything you guys would like to add to the game? Let me know down below. I am still planning on making that video where I talk about the things that fans want, so please leave your comments down below. They will be absolutely helpful when I'm making that video. But once again, thank you all so much for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel for Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact, Azure Familiar, Ananta, NTE, and other game videos, mostly challenge videos, sometimes guide videos, and also some fun videos that I may try from time to time. Also join the hideout on Discord, and that's pretty much it. Thank you all so much for watching once again, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.